Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to talk about Professor Dungeon Master being wrong in his latest video on the end of Man Short's D&D channel and how to be a great game master. All right, so first of all, it is I am really fascinated with Professor Dungeon Master's channel. So first of all, I think he's having a crisis of the soul right now. I think he knows he is clickbaiting it's wild. I think actually I think you could just look at his video. He's like, hey, clickbait destroyed my YouTube channel. 100%. I totally agree. You're clickbaiting and it is destroying your channel. Professor Dungeon Master, you really got to stop clickbaiting. And he is 100% clickbaiting. And I think if you watch his clickbaiting video, what he's saying is, I clickbait because you click on clickbait. And yes, people absolutely click on clickbait, right? But that doesn't excuse you for doing it. Oh, I want my YouTube channel to do well. That's not a good excuse to ruin society, right? Like clickbait ruins society. We need to, okay, here, let's talk about his current video, right? His thumbnail says, YouTube is killing D&D channels. Here's why, right? Now, first of all, if you listen to his video, right? In his video, he talks about how the guy who was running How to Be a Great Game Master literally went to YouTube and they received him in and had a talk with him about his channel, right? Like, you know, it's the exact opposite. Like, all they had to do to kill his channel was do nothing, not take a meeting with him to help him, right? And so they took a meeting with him. You don't take a meeting with somebody you're trying to destroy what they're doing, right? They gave him the time to talk over how to change his channel and how to do things, right? So if you listen to the information I think this is the case in most of his videos, right? If you listen to Professor Dungeon Master's words, they're correct. And I actually think they're truthful. If you look at his thumbnails and his titles, they're pure clickbait, right? And you're not excused. You're not excused for clickbaiting people because you want your YouTube channel to grow. We all want our YouTube channel to grow. We can't use clickbait titles and thumbnails. It's wrong. It's not cool. It's not cool, right? And I think he clearly feels very guilty about it and understands that what he's doing is wrong, right? And he's trying to justify it to himself, right? And I think he's talking to a lot of YouTubers who are, I cannot tell you, I've been on the other side of it, right? I know guys who have lost family, lost friends, burned people like fuel for D&D commentary. It's not worth it. It is not. You shouldn't burn family for anything, right? And I cannot tell you the price that many people have paid, right? And I'm not just telling to listen to Professor Dungeon Master, right? He said, I work constantly, and this ain't even my main gig. It's a side hustle for him, and he works hundreds of hours a year on it. Hundreds of hours a year on it. That's astounding to me, right? Now, so let's set that there, right? Now, how is he wrong? So first of all, he's 100% wrong. D&D is not killing YouTube channels. D&D is giving a global platform for nothing to anyone who wants to have a D&D channel. They're literally doing the opposite. You know how much it costs to upload a YouTube video? Nothing, not a single dollar, right? Nobody needs to be paid for any D&D commentary, right? There is zero cost to doing a single D&D video, right? That's the part no other creator is going to tell you, but that's true, right? In my humble opinion, that is a concrete reality. I take back that that's true. I'm just sharing my opinion. That is a concrete reality. Concrete reality. It costs nothing, right? YouTube has done more to make D&D commentary a robust community activity for 20 years, right? Nothing has done more to propel Dungeons and Dragons than YouTube. Nothing. I think it's the number one generator for D&D commentator creating. They are doing the opposite. They are very much keeping alive. And you know why? You know how much it would cost you to put up your own global video platform, right? Like, do you understand what it takes to host these videos, right? I've had 9,000 videos hosted on YouTube for a decade. They've never lost one of them, right? Like, it's outrageous to say that YouTube is killing channels is outrageously unfair and frankly outrageously ungrateful for a corporation that has done more to help Professor Dungeon Master than anyone he's dealing with. Who does he know that's going to put a server farm under a mountain cooled by a cave river, right? Like, can you do that? You can't, right? The reality is YouTube has been outrageously beneficial and outrageously kind to way more than any D&D YouTube commentator deserves. So to say that YouTube is killing D&D channels is horrendously unfair and frankly, in my humble opinion, outrageously wrong. I think Professor Dungeon Master is outrageously wrong. In addition to this, neither one of the channels was at all even remotely a Dungeons and Dragons channel. Let's break them down, right? How to be a game master, not a dungeon master, right? That guy's, so his channel is done because it sucked. It traded treasure for trash, right? He said, hey, guess what? They printed on the bottom. So here's the problem he had. They printed on the bottom of every single Dungeons and Dragons book. It says the world's greatest role-playing game, because it is by every single metric. By every single metric. By every single metric. It doesn't beat every one of its competitors. Dungeons & Dragons beats every single one of its competitors simultaneously and not by a small margin. It destroys everyone who comes for it, right? It is the 800-pound gorilla, right? And he didn't cover it, right? He's like, oh, so all you had to do was just say how to be a great dungeon master. Nobody wants to know how to be a great game master, right? Because game master is nothing. Is that a board game term? Who knows? Nobody cares. Nobody wants you to be a game master, right? He traded treasure, Dungeons and Dragons, for trash, OSC, right? Like, if you are TTRPG, you better stay laser freaking focused on Dungeons and Dragons. Because if you don't, you're saying, oh, well, I could do a D&D video, and then almost everybody will be interested, even if I'm just talking about errata. But if I switch to some other game, it could be their biggest release ever, and no one will care. Literally, D&D's errata outperforms the biggest releases of the OSR and D&D. So it was not a D&D channel. How to be a great game master was exactly that. Nobody cared because nobody wants to be a great game master, right? It's dungeon master or nothing. And if you don't understand that, don't be surprised if, I outlasted him. I'm doing my channel right now. He's gone. Done. Right? Like, this isn't I'm not just like he's gone. I'm still here. Right? And I'll be here. Right? He's gone. Right? That's my point. Like, don't trade treasure for trash. And if you do, don't be surprised if anybody interested in your trash. Right? Next one. Man shorts, right? I say that was not a Dungeons & Dragons video. It was disrespect to Dungeons & Dragons. It mocked Dungeons & Dragons at every single turn. It mocks Dungeons & Dragons players. And actually, I actually think that is the biggest thing. If you watch that channel, in my humble opinion, in every single video, they said, oh, do you like Dungeons & Dragons? You're a ridiculous fool who should be laughed at. Oh, so you surprised when you mock Dungeons & Dragons for a long time? And everybody's like, you know what? I'm kind of sick of you. You can make fun of D&D, but the reality is you're making fun of it and saying it's silly and it's not really cool and everybody should hate it and laugh at it, right? But wait, it continues to outsell everything. And it continues to gain incredible momentum. And every single year, it accomplishes something that the rest of the industry cannot accomplish, right? Like, in 2024 alone, D&D had 10 achievements that the rest of the industry could not match. Do you understand that? And some of it, the industry will never match, right? But Manshurst was like, oh, let's all laugh at Dungeons & Dragons again. Let me give you another 5 minutes of mockery of everybody at your table. Are you surprised that, that it's gone? It's gone. Well, it should be, in my opinion. If you mock Dungeons & Dragons, you should be gone. And it is. People are like, you know what? How about a channel that respects Dungeons & Dragons and does it down it every single day, right? And doesn't pretend that it's not outperforming the entire industry simultaneously, right? And so neither one of these channels were actually Dungeons & Dragons. Both of them traded treasure for trash, and they ended because trash is worthless and you're not going to be able to build on sand. That's why they're gone, right? And so Professor Dungeon Master is wrong. These channels are not gone because YouTube killed them. They're gone because they did not pay respect to the king on the mountain. You disrespect Dungeons & Dragons, you will not last, in my humble opinion. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.